I'm here with Rosalyn Masterson, also known as Masterson. She's the author of The Storm is Over, an autobiography based on her struggles with being ostracized, her experience of living in a dysfunctional family, her memories of neglect, abandonment, and physical and sexual abuse, and the sudden loss of her son. It is a story of her life as a child, a mother, and a woman. A woman who found God's grace. This book explains how Ra overcomes these challenges and emerges triumphant. Her story entails the power of forgiveness and the necessity of having a loving God that works through life, love, and people. Ra is with us today to pass along the message that a loving God can enter into your life too. We just have to be receptive to receive His grace. Ra, thanks for being here with us today. Rosalyn, when did you first realize you wanted to be a writer?
Honestly, it wasn't something that I had decided. It was, I was given a story, and the story was about a lady. The story was about a girl who had an interaction with another lady, and what had happened, I had said that her story is lunch meat compared to my filet mignon, and that's where it started. And people was just curious. And it is started at my employer where I used to work, these two women. And one of the ladies, she just had her son that would come up. She would volunteer at the GED department, and then she introduced her son to me. And then they just heard me say what I said, and they gave me this book. And I mean, this girl has nothing on what my life was. And it was in a situation like it was just this girl back east, and then she had this encounter with this lady that had something to do with the education, because she was at college, I believe, and was one of her teachers or counselors, life coaches, they called them back then, life coaches.
What does the title mean, The Storm is Over?
Well, it's a number of things. It's a number of things. But the first thing and the most important thing to Rosalyn is the life that was before the life I have now. The battles and the struggles. Not having to live like that, not having to continue to repeat my past, and just understanding that, the waters where it's so calm now that I can just walk through it. There's no storms. There's no storms.
What was your purpose for writing this book?
I have a passion, and I guess as the story gets going, you will see about my struggles, what I talked about. But I have a passion today that what inspired me to do this deal is other women like myself. The women of color, the diverse communities, the women on the streets, the prostitutes, the drug addicts, children left in foster care, the selfishness, and then the men that they choose. So, if I can help those women, and even now other women, the women that are sitting in the homes, the women that don't want to admit, the insecurities, don't want to admit that they have an issue. If I can share, somebody like Rosalyn can share what has happened to help these women. And some say even men, but the primary goal was for my sisters, all women. If I can help them to overcome these storms, so be it. If I touch one life, I have tapped into that source.
How did writing this book change you or change your views?
I don't believe there's much change. It's just made me a better person. It's made me a wiser person. And I'm not talking about every day, I'm not talking about in the strength of just men. but in God's strength. It's made me know that I am not alone and I'm not doing this alone. And it's just given me that. I got like this inside. I would like to say I got to hook up. So it's just made me wiser and stronger.
What is something that you really, really like about this book?
The vulnerability, the honesty, the not being embarrassed or ashamed, to just put it out there and say what I need to say, and just to tell it from my perspective. No one else's but my perspective.
What would you say to persuade a person to read your book?
I don't think I need to do no persuading, because everyone that has been around Rosalyn, and they say that you ain't supposed to mention things, but everybody from the church house to the 12-step rooms to the grocery stores, anybody that's ever had an encounter with Rosalyn and how I talk, how I operate, that should be enough, because everybody is curious. And also I got some scars that right now you can't see them because they covered. But the bottom line, people used to always ask me, where them scars come from? And I get to say, well, read the book. And I don't mean with all that attitude, but that's what I get to say, because it's a journey. Nobody should be treated the way I was treated. But we all have a hand in it. But people be curious about me.
What are your greatest hopes for this thorough interview that is going to take place in the next 10 weeks between you and I?
Well, for starters, to have a deeper understanding and a deeper relationship with what is going on here and the seriousness of what is going on, and to have respect for your time and also for my mentor's time, and the importance of knowing. The hope is the importance of knowing how God has connected people and how God is wanting, it is time now for this to happen. And so just to show up, suit up and show up and prepare. But the hope is that we do well.
Thank you so much, Rosalyn. So I read your book, and for me it was walking hand in hand with you through the storm, through your childhood, your adolescence, your teenage years, your young adulthood, and then moving out of that storm and realizing what you did through God's grace for the storm to be over. So you helped me change my own perspective on how it is to be a Black woman walking in this world, going through these tragedies and then overcoming it through God's grace. So thank you for providing me hope.